We are discovering new details about the controversial Greenbelt deals. The Ford government may have thrown away millions of dollars when it gave away the rights to develop the protected land free of charge. That's according to experts calling this the biggest financial mismanagement of a public asset since the sell-off of the 407. A bird's-eye view of the farmlands and forests no longer protected from development. This is by far the largest area of valuable land being removed from the Greenbelt. Nearly 5,000 acres of the Duffins Rouge Agricultural Preserve just east of Toronto in Pickering. The government doesn't own the land, but did own the rights to develop it until now.
They have vast monetary value, and they were just given away by the government with the stroke of a pen.
Ontario sold the land in 2003 to area farmers for next to nothing on the public promise the lands would be protected for agricultural purposes only, a promise legally enshrined through legislation. When the Ford government stripped away its protections and made it developable to build 50,000 new homes, the land's value rose astronomically from $4,000 an acre to an estimated $500,000 an acre. The bulk of that dramatic rise in value belonged to the public because despite selling the land, experts tell us Ontario still owned all the non-agricultural rights.
Even if you want to build houses there, there's a huge question of why they did it in a way that throws away huge sums of public money. We could have just bought back the agricultural rights and then sold it all as a package. And the value to the taxpayer would have been huge.
Alternatively, experts say the government could have sold the development rights to the land, but instead they essentially threw away a $2 billion asset.
They could have put that money into the public purse rather than into the purse of those private landowners.
Ontario's Green Party leader calling it a dereliction of the Premier's duty.
Financial mismanagement on a grand scale is inexplicable. I mean, for them not to capture the value of this land for the public, to benefit the public, and instead allowing literally a couple of land speculators to cash in at our expense.
We spoke with the lead planner of the Greenbelt plan, who tells us there were other ways of capturing the value of the land, such as putting a price on releasing the protections and requiring the developer landowners to compensate Ontario for all or part of the vast increase in the value of the land. Alternatively, he tells us the province could have mandated that an amount equivalent to all or part of the increased value be provided in the form of affordable housing on the lands. It did neither, but simply allowed the developers and owners to reap the entirety of the windfall.
They didn't do the sensible thing, even if you wanted to build houses there, which would be to expropriate that land as agricultural land and pay cheap prices and then resell it on behalf of the public at actual market value.
Housing Minister Steve Clark's office tells us in a statement the lands in question are privately owned and have been for many years. Expropriations of private property are a limited tool used in order to further government infrastructure projects like highways, schools, and transit. The owners of these lands have already indicated their willingness to build much-needed housing on them. The government will not expropriate the privately owned lands in question for the sole purpose of revenue generation. For City News, I'm Tina Yazdani.